はい、皆さん、こんにちは。僕の名前はケビン・ペンキンと申します。今回、Grow Over the Evertree というオーストラリアのインディゲームの作曲家として参加させていただいております。ぜひ、このインタビューよろしくお願い申し上げます。I always saw myself as a composer because I had no skill in any other category of study. I actually started out by playing flute, but I eventually graduated to doing compositions, at first in a more classical style, but when I started playing video games when I was 10, I played a game called Metroid Prime from Nintendo, and I loved that game so much that I wanted to do music just like that game. And so that's how I started wanting to write music for video games. When I start writing for whether it be an anime or a game, I always start by trying to write musical ideas that physically depict the environment. So it could be the color palette, it could be the character design, but I always like to try and put the music in the DNA of the project. Obviously, anime and games are different because one is linear, one is interactive. However, that doesn't have any influence on the core musical creative idea. However, at some point, of course, those two paths start deviating, and so it can become very, very different. Well, my first contact with Prideful Sloth was through Cheryl Vance, and she reached out because she actually knew my music from Made in Abyss. I figured that because we both live in Australia, she would be more familiar with my music from a game called Florence, which was an Australian video game that did very well here. However, turns out that she was also a big anime fan, so we got along straight away, and that's where she knew my music from. And so when she was showing me Grow, she had all these wonderful ideas for different parts of this world to have different characteristics, which is something I'm very, very, very passionate about from a musical perspective. And so our conversations started straight away in a very, very excited manner, and we were able to have a very, very, very healthy creative conversation about what we wanted the music of Grow to sound like. And I did do a little research, and I did want to see where they were coming from when it came to how Grow was progressing from Yonder. However, I didn't want to go too deep purely because I did want to treat this as a new game. I was also a new staff member, so I didn't want to kind of step on anyone's toes. I just wanted to kind of really do a new and honest thing for this game. Because Grow is quite a unique world with a lot of variety, there was a few different ideas that really sort of became the core of Grow. One of them was to do with how instruments were selected and what instruments would be associated with different parts of the world and different biomes, etc. Also, just being able to maybe occasionally use some very specific and unique guest instruments such as soprano saxophone or kazoo or something like that was a really fun sort of breath of fresh air when writing, quite a large soundtrack actually. Thank you so much for listening to this interview. It was a great pleasure to be part of Grow Song of the Evertree as its composer, and it'll be out on Steam, it'll be out on Switch, and it'll be out on PlayStation 4 among other things in the near future. So thank you for your patience while we finish up this incredible game, and of course stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully see you soon. Bye for now.
Grow, Song of the Evertree.